What is going on, community? What is going on, people of Earth? Welcome back to the Flash by Night channel. Welcome back to Transformers Tuesday, and welcome back to Shattered Glass Season. Today, we're going to catch up with Transformers Shattered Glass 2, issue number 3. And don't worry, Orion Pax is not in this book. I don't know why he's on the cover, but I had to grab the Orion Pax cover. Now, in issue number 2, we essentially had a spotlight issue on Blaster, which is ironic because he loves the spotlight. But by the end of the issue, Blaster was killed by Optimus, one of Ultra Magnus's wreckers. And also, Slicer left with his head to basically deliver communication to Ultra Magnus. Issue number 3 is a spotlight on Slicer. Hopefully he fares a little bit better. So we open up with Slicer, who reminds me of Wheeljack. I'm not sure if that's Wheeljack with a new name or if he is some separate Autobot named Slicer, but he's having a conversation with Ratchet while Ratchet is doing repairs like he likes to do. Ratchet tells him that sooner or later it's going to be time for Slicer to have some kind of repairs done. He's probably about due to lose a right arm, and Ratchet thinks it's dumb because he's never going to lose a limb or lose his life as long as he's a wrecker. And if you recall, the last time we saw Ratchet was in issue number 1 of Shattered Glass 1, and this kind of tells us how hard Ultra Magnus has been working behind the scenes to get other Autobots and maybe even non-Autobots over to his side. But we start to see why Ultra Magnus really wanted the communication between Soundwave and the other Decepticons. He wants to know what he can glean about Metroplex and about what Goldbug could possibly be doing with Metroplex and whether or not he's gotten any further into his plans. Once inside, Slicer doesn't expect to meet Goldbug, but he does meet Goldbug. They kind of hash it out, greet each other like old times, but Slicer has ulterior motives that Goldbug is not aware of. You see, there's another reason why Slicer has the head of Blaster. Between Blaster's frequency and the messages coming from Soundwave, Slicer thinks he has the key to waking up Metroplex. Goldbug has the spark of Starscream, but as you can see, Goldbug is not patient. He doesn't know all this technical science stuff, and so he's kind of right where Slicer wants him. On top of that, the other advantage that Slicer has with the head of Blaster is that he can draw the attention of Jetfire and of the other Decepticons flying around doing patrols around Metroplex, since they've basically taken over that area after taking down Gold City. Why does Slicer want to draw their attention? Because he has a risky but well-crafted plan for he and Goldbug to take down some of these patrol fighters, but for him to turn on Goldbug at just the right time. Goldbug, however, figures out what Slicer is up to, and he is going to take Slicer out until Jetfire comes to exact his revenge. If you remember, the origin of our Shattered Glass story starts with Starscream and Jetfire being friends until Goldbug kills Starscream for his spark. And with one sudden drop, Jetfire absolutely crushes Goldbug. Now, I am not sure whether Goldbug makes it out of this issue or not. If you remember, he was Bumblebee until he was almost destroyed once before, and that's how he got to be Goldbug. So he may weasel his way out of this, he may not. And just as Jetfire turned his attention to Slicer, Slicer ignited this mini bomb in his right arm to distract Jetfire If you're keeping score, that means Ratchet was right, and Slicer is going to need another right arm. But the rest of the wreckers show up, and they take in Jetfire alive because Ultra Magnus wants him alive, because ultimately Jetfire knows better than anyone how to make Metroplex function. And that was issue number 3 of Transformers Shattered Glass 2. We got a focused story on Slicer while moving our story forward, and I think we're finding out that Ultra Magnus may just want power, and that's why he wants the Titan. And we're also figuring out that while certain wreckers are psycho, like Rodimus, other wreckers like Blaster and Slicer are not so gung-ho about this mission. They're kind of doing what they have to do to survive. But I think eventually we're going to get to the point where Ultra Magnus's house of cards fall down. In the meantime, still enjoying Transformers, still enjoying this Shattered Glass universe, and we'll see what happens in issue 4 on next Transformers Tuesday.